All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming to today's meeting. We're still getting some stuff set up here. Give me one more second. Get that TV turned on. All right. So let me just pull up the agenda real quick. Okay, it looks like we're good. Yep, we're good. All right, here we go. So I think we can start by doing introductions because we have a lot of new faces here today, and that's great. And I think, so what I want to try doing is I want to try getting better at this thing of like turning the camera towards whoever's speaking so people can lip read. So if you can, before you speak, every time just like say your name, and of course when we're doing the introductions, we'll go around and everyone will say their name. You can say why you're here if you want. And I think let's go with favorite moment from the past week. That's been a pretty, I think that's been a pretty good one to do. So we can go around and say our favorite moment from the past week as well. All right, so I can start. Let me turn the camera on. And hold on. All right, hi everybody. I'm Jay Pandy. I'm the president of Duke Disability Alliance. I guess my favorite moment from the past week was last night. I got to see Black Panther. So that was a really good movie, and I was really happy I was able to see it so early. All right. All right. So now we can go around, and if you want to start, hold on. Let me see if I can. Okay. Here we go. Okay, there you are.
I'm Kaylee. I'm a freshman. I'm in Dr. T's writing class. And my favorite moment this week was, I had a lot of midterms, so I guess when they were over was my favorite moment.
I'm Georgia. I'm also in Dr. T's writing 101 class. And I'm a freshman, obviously. And my favorite moment from this week was into the basketball game and we won 17.
Right, yeah.
I am Dennis. I'm also in Dr. Key's class, and I guess my favorite moment was also when my midterms were over.
Hi, I'm Daisy. I'm also a freshman in Dr. Key's writing class.
That's right. If you don't want to be filmed, you can sit next to me. I'll blur your face out for the second we got you in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you're fine being filmed.
Yeah, I can be filmed.
Yeah. All right, let's see who's next. Maddie, you want to go next for the introductions? We're just going around and saying our favorite moment from the past week. So yeah, anything from the past week. So let's see if I can turn the right way around. Okay.
And I'm a freshman in my favorite moment is when all my teachers.
Hi, I'm Maria. I'm also a freshman in Dr. Key's class, and my favorite moment last week was when there was ice cream in Marketplace.
Okay. Let's see. Simon and Ashley and Marion, do you guys want to go too? Let me turn my volume up a bit. I think we're good. Oh, okay, I can't hear anybody. Hold on, let me.
Test.
Oh, there we go. There we go. I can hear you, Ashley. All right. All right. Do you want to go next, Ashley? Or?
Sure. It was one of those weeks where I had to actually look at my calendar and what I did all this week. Well, my favorite moment. Introduction. My name is Ashley Elrath. I'm an instructor in the history department. I teach disability history. And my favorite moment this week was that I somehow joined an amateur pool league in Durham. I am not good at pool. I haven't played in years, but found myself enrolling and losing my first 2 games. It was a lot of fun.
I guess, Marion, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Marion. I'm the faculty advisor of DDA. I teach disability studies writing classes. I guess I have 2 favorite moments. One is right now, just seeing all of my students at the DDA meeting is really exciting. So, hey guys, good to see you. My other favorite moment is Yuzuru Hanyu's free skate. That was pretty awesome.
All right, and then Simon.
Yeah, hi, I'm Simon. I'm a freshman, and I'm the secretary for DDA. And my favorite moment was probably last night. I went to the Me Too monologues, and they were really good.
Yeah, I missed those. All right. So I think we had a bunch of time reserved today for you guys to talk about your projects. So we can just go around again. Let's see. Does that sound good to everybody? I can just get the camera on you then. All right. So if you just wanna maybe talk a little bit about your project, because I think you guys are all gonna be, your projects are all gonna be presented at the exhibition that we're gonna do during Disability Pride Week at the end of March. Great. Yeah. So if everyone just wants to talk about their project, and like if you need any specific help from DDA or any like advice or anything you're struggling with, we can talk about it now. All right. So let's get started then.
Okay, so I changed my original idea a little bit, but I wanted to do a children's book, and on like the mental challenges faced after war. I'm kind of stuck on how to like structure it, like whether I want it told from like the perspective of someone that came back from war, or like say it was a child whose parent maybe went to war and came back and they changed. So that's just kind of like what I'm going back and forth with.
Right. So let's see. So I guess in DDA we don't really have any. Do we have any resources about like PTSD or mental health after war or anything like that? Maybe Ashley or Marion. Trying to think if there's any way we can help you out.
I mean, there is a student group, Duke Student Veterans or something like that, right? I don't know how active they are, but it might be cool to like share your ideas with them, or maybe think about using them as a target audience for when we do audience feedback, right, over spring break. So that might be one resource on campus you can think about. Otherwise, I would recommend the kind of research that we talked about in class a couple weeks ago, where you should look for like testimonials and stuff like that. I like the idea of, since it's a children's book, having it from a child's perspective, you know, of a parent or loved one, and that kind of secondhand witnessing could be really interesting. So yeah, I mean, does that help in terms of getting started and finding resources? Does anyone have any other?
I would weigh in that it may also be interesting, this might be getting too specific, but to reach out to veteran groups that are a bit older who might have children and might be particularly touched by your project, and would be an interesting interview subject to ask, how would you try to convey your experience or your new reality to a child? And it could be a letter that, like, it doesn't matter if it's a baby or a young child, they might be thinking through, you know, sharing this experience when they're older. So a possible resource is to reach out through the group's connections to the ADA, and through that to ask for references to veteran groups.
And so that is the Alliance for Disability Advocates, right? Yeah, they're local. They're based in Durham, right? Actually,
Alliance of
Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Raleigh, right? Okay.
Yeah, they have connections with her.
And the executive director is also a veteran.
Right. Yeah, Dave Wickstrom is a veteran, so you might, yeah, you might want to chat to him. I was actually thinking too of Lou Brown, who organized the Unknown Soldier exhibition last semester. So, Kaylee, since you're in my class, you must have just looked through those David J photos that we had assigned for class yesterday that we didn't even get to talk about. But that photographer, that was a whole big exhibition that we had at Duke in the fall, and there were a lot of events and speakers, and a lot of them were veterans, right? So this is an intellectual area of interest for Lou Brown. She works for the Forum for Scholars in Publics. So I'll just like make a note to myself, and I'll send you a couple email addresses for Dave Wickstrom and Lou Brown. So I'll send you that stuff.
All right. Did you have any other questions? Anything you wanted to say about your project?
No.
Anything to get people excited so they want to come see it? All right. Yeah. Yeah, if you send us anything, you can always reach out to us via email, Duke Disability Alliance at duke.edu. That goes to all of execs, so we can answer any further questions you have. Anything you want to distribute to the listserv, we can send that out as well. Next.
Yeah, so Dennis and I are actually working together on the project. And we're making a video for, it's like a series about Disability Matters, and we're pairing with another class who's doing the editing of, like, they're learning how to edit videos. So they're going to edit the video, and we're more in terms of like the message. And so the theme of like our video is accessibility in dorm, like residential life and campus culture. So it's going to talk both about like physical accessibility in the dorms, and then also like mental disability in terms of like the culture around like competitiveness, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're going to try and touch on how people interact with the culture surrounding disability on campus, perhaps without even knowing how they create that culture, if possible. We can touch on that. And we're looking for people to be part of it, be interviewed. So if there's anybody who'd like to be part of it.
Yeah, if you send us a description of what your project is, we can get that out to our listserv and see if anyone wants to be involved. Yeah, I think all of those are really great topics, and we've actually been getting some pretty good responses on our accessibility survey. I don't know if you guys have all filled that out. Yeah, we've been getting really good responses about all of those topics on our survey, so we can look into sharing those with you. Certainly, we just have a bunch of them, so you just have to like sort through them and everything. But yeah, I think that. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what you guys find through your interviews and throughout the project. Yeah.
Nani would be a good partner for that too, right?
Yeah,
Nani
so
chapter.
that's a chapter of the National Alliance for Mental Illness, and one of the presidents this year is Tatiana Bidopia, I think her name. And I don't know if you've talked to her already or.
I know her.
Okay, yeah. Right, yeah, she might be able to help you with that because they do a lot of work with mental health. So yeah. So is there anything else you wanted from us? Anything more specific?
Just while we're on Georgia and Dennis, can I ask, have you guys met with your partners in the video class yet? How did that go?
It was good. They wanted us, so one of the guys that's working with us was concerned that we were talking about physical and mental disability and wants to only talk about mental health.
Or one or the other.
Or like one or the other. And I know that we're like supposed to talk about both. So
Okay.
He wanted us to ask you about that.
Yeah, I mean, talking about culture, I think that it is about both, right? It's about like cultural constructions of like normalcy and then things that deviate from the norm, right? And that includes both mental and physical differences, right? So like learning disabilities, that's part of like the culture of disability and inclusion, but so is physical disability. So since you guys aren't focusing on just disabilities, right? You're focusing on the culture of inclusiveness that we create, or the culture of exclusiveness, right? And you're trying to like ask questions about better ways to be inclusive, and that kind of goes on both physical and mental lines. So I hope that you can have that conversation with your partner and, you know, make it clear what the focus is. Yeah, Ashley, what are your thoughts on that?
It reminds me of a conversation that we had about one of the readings that you selected for us, and I think it might have been Kafer's, is about the advantage of using physical metaphors to illustrate that culture. So to refer to stairs and ladders and things, and that can actually be kind of a helpful analytical device that maybe you could play with visually in a video. What was that reading? Where like
that was actually Jay mapping fighting disabilities. I'll send that to them, and they can use that as one of their resources.
Right. So talk about like this more elusive, ephemeral, cultural version of a staircase.
Yeah,
that are all around it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an interesting perspective. Cool. Yeah, again, if you guys need anything, just email Duke Disability Alliance at duke.edu. That goes to all of exec, including Marion and Ashley. So, yeah, we can get everything sent out that we need. Thanks. All right. Next person, let's see. All right. Oh, there we go.
Okay, yeah, so I'm also working on the video project, and my kind of theme is physical accessibility on campus. So I talked to a couple of people on DSG, on the outreach committee, who also are like focusing on this issue on campus, and two of them are actually working on the lack of handicap bathrooms on campus. So I think Ian he's actually going around campus like physically going into buildings and marking which bathrooms are inaccessible. And Jaja is like doing, she's like writing proposals, doing research to try to get more funding to get the door openers on the bathroom doors, because sometimes we do have handicap bathrooms, but there's no like the door openers, so we have to wait.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like the first part of the video be more, after like meeting with my video, the other class, like they want to do more of a storytelling kind of perspective. So like have like interviews and like videos and stuff like that. And then the later part, I think I want to ask like Jaja and Ivan to talk a little bit about what they have been doing. And then at the end, kind of ask the audience to, whenever they see a bathroom that is not handicap appropriate, they would just send in a picture to DSG and tell them where it is. So kind of that helps with the data collection for their project.
Right. I think that is a really cool idea. Yeah. And have you sent us a description already of your project?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you get an email that we had sent that out or not? So much stuff happens then sometimes.
No, I don't think that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll look back and make sure we did that, and if not, we'll also consider that in our recap.
Yeah.
For today's meeting. I think everyone is now on the list, right? If you're in Mary's class. Awesome. Right. Okay. Next. Guess let's see. You want to just introduce yourself real quick, Deepthi?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hi everyone, I'm Deepthi. I'm the accessibility chair of Duke Disability Alliance and also Sorry.
Let's see. So we have one more person. Hello.
Okay, so my activism project consists of making a series of drawings and paintings, and I kind of wanted to use like different mediums. I'm gonna do like a series of like maybe 4. I still like don't know the size or like what's gonna be in it specifically, but I wanted it to be like the same story repeated 4 times, but shown 4 different ways. And then the message that I wanna like say is that even though we're all like technically looking at the same thing and like looking at the same story, we all experience it different ways. And I wanted it to be like how we interpret art and like the way that we interpret the world and like kind of like a reflection on that. But I think the main struggle that I have is like how I can spread that message. Like I was thinking about submitting my pieces to the student showcase exhibition, but like I don't know if that like would be enough or what else I could do to like spread it.
Yeah, I mean, I know Marion, last year you put all the projects online, right?
Yep, last we did a website for all of the projects. It was called Neurodiversity and Inclusion. I haven't started building one yet for this year, but Ashley and I have been making a website for our disability initiative, and we're thinking about featuring student projects on that as just to kind of show the disability community that are interested in disability issues, both in the student body and the faculty. So we're bringing those communities together through this online space. So it might be something on there. But I guess I have a question at the beginning of your description. So what I understand from what you just shared is that you want to write a story. You want to write short stories?
No, like
okay.
I want to like draw the stories.
Oh, kind of. Graphic novel or like just a picture?
Oh, just a picture.
Okay, so like 4 different images?
Yeah.
I'll just write this down. I'm writing it into our drawings.
Marion, I think earlier you were kind of cutting in and out. Could you just explain what you were saying about the website again?
Sure. Ashley and I have a faculty working group called the Disability Initiative, and we need to create a website for that, and we wanted to include all the different courses that are offered at Duke that have, and because that online space is faculty right now, we wanted a group of DDA students and like my students and Ashley's students, and just to showcase some student work that it can show and provide that that's interested in dedicating the issue. So that showcase activism project semester. So I haven't done that and probably won't until, but you know, that you could show it, but you probably want to find ways to expand your audience anyway. So like through social media or maybe even having it published on something like Meet, which have an audience, and then you can kind of promote it to our website or something like that. You might be able to expand your audience more. But yeah, I kind of wanted to know what the story was going to be that you're going to share through these drawings. Maybe you haven't decided that part yet. But
I haven't decided. Like, I still have to do the sketches and like I'm kind of stuck on that part because like I didn't know, but like I know what to like focus it on and like what I wanted the story itself to say.
So in terms of message, I want about the social contexts and institutions that we've been discussing in class. So I would use our discussions about things like gender, about things like incarceration, about race, like all of those topics, and like find one that crystallizes your interests, you know, and use that and just as long as the story is focused on like a social context rather than just, you know, experience and consciousness, right? Because we can't like look at experience and consciousness in a vacuum, you know.
Yeah.
Talking about all semester, you have to look at like experience, right? Lived experience, and the ways that that's related to power structures and hierarchies, in the way that's related to human institutions. So yeah, pick something from our class, like one of the readings that you found really interesting, and use that topic as inspiration, and then start to do some reading and research in that.
Yeah.
That should be helpful. And if you,
So I guess for us, for the people that aren't in the class, like so that would then be basically like the intersection of disability and other aspects of identity, or okay.
So we talk a lot about the ways that social structures contribute to mental health and to, you know, like lived experience. So we like have a reading where we read about the history of incarceration for people with disabilities and for people with mental illness. We have a lot of stories that we've been reading that deal with topics like gender and race, the pharmaceutical industry. So yeah, there's like a lot of different topics. It all kind of comes back to mental health and trauma and stuff like that. But it's showing the way that's not something you can really separate out from the social structures that create and inform those experiences.
Cool. Yeah, and again, if you have anything that you want, like if you need anybody's advice, you can send something out to our listserv. If you need any advice from exec, you can email us through Disability Alliance. So yeah, we can definitely help you out. Yeah, all of these sound like really cool projects. I'm really excited to go to the exhibition and see everything. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And again, if you want to come to another meeting, feel free to do that. And then if you can even join via the Hangout link next week, or like any other week, if you don't have to come here physically. So that's another bonus. Let's see. So let's just pull the computer back around. Okay. We have notes. So, so updates on Disability Pride Week. So we have our national event on the 31st. That's going to be Saturday. So that's going to be at the end of the week. And that again is the event where we have Antoine Hunter from California. He's part of the Deaf Dance Company. He's going to be there at the national. And then we also have Carrie Sundal, who has made a film about disability representation in Hollywood. They're going to be watching with some excerpts from that. Let's see, we'll also have Barbara Barnes, who does live art, and she's from Carver. She's going to be there as well. So we're going to have all three of them there. We're going to have snacks and stuff. It's going to be a great event. I think everybody should come, and it's going to be at the Nasher, so it's close by on campus. Let's see, and then on Monday we're going to have a lunch where there's going to be a doctor who's going to be discussing trauma-informed care. Marion, I don't know if you want to speak more about that.
Yeah, this connects again back to Ashley and I, our faculty group. And we have been organizing this. We have been organizing this back since the summer, where we wanted to have this speaker come and talk to us about trauma. He would speak only to the faculty in our group. Hard to schedule her for this. We ended up just pushing. We decided, okay, if we just open it up to the public, and we don't want it to be huge. Like we still think we only want not like a big section, like 25 target. Her honorarium through our initiative, and I think it'll just be a time thing. We talk about ways trauma affects the body and the ways that our institutions can exacerbate trauma, and then the ways that we can design institutions that alleviate it instead. So she gave this lecture at the Disability Rights North Carolina conference. I saw it, and I was so moved, and I just felt like it was so important, and that it's the kind of thing I wish every doctor could see, every police officer, every teacher, everyone who ever has to interact with a person in crisis or a person who's experienced trauma. So I felt like it was such an important topic, and I'm excited to bring her to Duke. And we still haven't worked out the details of time and place. So Ashley and I need to meet and chat about that sometime soon. But we do have the date finally fixed. So it will be on the 26th, probably during lunchtime.
Great. All right, thanks, Frank. Yeah, so we have the national event, we have the lunch, we have this chat. I think we're going to be doing it in the evening. We're not sure the exact time. It's going to be at the CMA. And they have this open space there for all students to use. And so they basically host weekly discussions there. So we're thinking on the Monday of Disability Pride Week, the 26th again, kind of in the afternoon or evening, hosting a discussion about disability on campus. Let me see if I can pull up this lady's email. Someone from the CMA has reached out to us. Let me try and find that. Yeah, so it's just have a relaxed conversation about multiculturalism while we eat pizza and popcorn. So it says if we want to have a speaker or maybe someone to share our experience at Duke, or even just a conversation about the importance of Disability Pride Week. So yeah, I think it'll be the intent is to have a pretty wide-ranging conversation just about disability as it relates to campus, I think. Yeah. So I think that is going to be really cool, and we'll have more details about that soon. Probably in about 2 weeks or so. Yeah, so then a while ago, Duke Rec had reached out to us about partnering for an event. And that was going to be in January, but we weren't able to get it together by then. So hopefully it'll be held during Disability Pride Week. We're still waiting for more details on that. And then we have the student exhibition, which I think is going to be really great. Well, we haven't nailed down the date yet, but we're looking to do that soon, hopefully. Then we have PICAP. So usually for Disability Pride Week, we partner with PICAP, the fraternity, and we table with them in the Bryan Center and kind of raise awareness about what the week, what Disability Pride Week is, what we're doing, and Accessibility Matters Day, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then on one of the days, we just fill, I think it's we just fill a bunch of pie tins with whipped cream, and then anyone can come up in. I think it's for $5, some small amount of money, you can pie a pie cap in the face. It's fun. It's messy, but it's fun. So, yeah. So yeah, and we're gonna be in the DC Plaza. So hopefully we'll have more details about that as well. Let's see. Then we have Accessibility Matters Day. So normally what we do is we just get people to sign a pledge for one day. We reserve a day and say for this day, if you sign the pledge, you're pledged to only walk accessible routes to wherever you need to go. So that, and then we ask people to also post on social media about their experience. Yeah, so I think Accessibility Matters Day is usually a really good eye opener to kind of show people like what it's like to have a disability on campus and how hard it is to get around on campus with a disability. And yeah, that should be also a really great thing to do. So yeah, stay tuned for all of those. Yeah, and we'll, like I said, we'll hopefully have more details about a bunch of them soon. Awesome. Was there anything else disability pride week related that we wanted to update the general body on?
We got approved for funding that we requested. Art events.
Yeah.
Not all
Yeah.
of
So
it?
the arts event. Yeah. So we did get approved for basically we have all the funding we need for this national event on 331. So it's definitely happening, and we're really excited. Yeah, we have we just heard back from SOFC, and then we have some other co-sponsors as well. The Duke Human Rights Center, Forum for Scholars in Publics, I think, is another one, and then the Franklin Humanities Institute. Did I get that right? I can go back and look and want to make sure to give them credit because we definitely appreciate their help.
That's the Health Humanities Lab, the Forum for Scholars in Publics, and the Human Rights Center.
Right. Okay, great. Yeah. So, okay. Let's see. Yeah, so I think we're doing pretty good on time. I think we can move on to discussing some ideas about next year. So we're trying to get an annual budget for next year. So we had a couple ideas to talk about. I don't know, Marion, if you want to take this part.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe can I talk to you the per diem that we had requested for Carrie Sendall that didn't get approved? Like, kind of want to figure out what we need to say about that and what we can do to get funding.
So it seems like SFC has approved us. This is going back to the event on 331, and this is more for exec, but it seems like SFC has approved us, didn't approve us all we requested, but we also have that additional 1,500 from our sponsors. Yeah. So if we add the amount from SFC and the amount from our sponsors together, that makes enough money to cover what SFC decided not to fund.
Use the money from FSP, for instance, to cover her per diem. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. Because I don't want to have to write to her and be like, we can only give you part of what you're asking for. Okay, so I'll write to her later today and let her know that she can go ahead and book her flights. Okay, so we wanted to think a little bit about our budget for next year and some of the things that we want to do next year, because it'll be a lot easier if we have a budget for everything kind of in advance rather than having to apply to SOFC for everything and to find sponsors. So this is just to make things smoother next year. The event that I was thinking about doing in the fall was a discussion on disability activism. So this fall we had Matt Hare come, and he's a lawyer at DRNC, and he spoke about writing op-eds and a little bit about digital advocacy and using social media for disability activism. But his talk was mostly like behavioral economics and stuff like that, like about like, why don't people agree with each other? Why can't people who don't agree with each other have a conversation? So it was interesting and useful, but I want to do something this fall that's centered more on actual disability activism. So I think it'd be great to invite some of the or maybe just one. I don't know how many we'll be able to realistically get here. I was thinking of a panel of 3. And I came up with 3 names, but it could also be awesome just to have one come. and just, you know, and just talk about their work. So I put on the list Alice Wong, who runs the Disability Visibility Project, Adi Barkin, who he was just one of the lead activists in the past year around all of the healthcare proposals that have been put before Congress and the House, and that he just was really instrumental in those healthcare proposals not getting passed. So it would be awesome to have him come, although with his health situation, I'm not sure how feasible it would be for him to travel to Duke, but I thought he'd be worth considering. And the third person is Kathy McMahon Klosterman, who I spoke with on the phone a few weeks ago and just had a really amazing conversation. She is someone who started a disability studies minor at Miami University in Ohio, and she's just so phenomenal. She spoke with the chairs of different departments all across the school and showed them how like disability studies relates to their discipline. And they built this minor, and it's now the most popular minor at the school. They've got like 5 sections of the introductory disability studies class semester and filling. It's like 30 section. So it's just impressive. And she also does a lot of activism around accessibility issues on their campus. So they've done some really impressive actions that I thought it would be cool for students to hear about, because you guys are at it similarly at an institution where there are some buildings that people can't get into, right? And DSG is starting to focus on that. So I feel like there's momentum around these issues, and Kathy would just be someone really cool to talk to about it. And I even floated the idea of having her come here at some point, and she thought it sounded great. So I feel like if no one else, we could have her come and be our guest in the fall, and I could have my students come. You know, just like we did with the Matt Hare event last year. So that was my thinking for the fall. And then in the spring, I think it would be a really cool idea to have a conference during Disability Pride Week, where we would have Duke faculty from my faculty group present about disability in their discipline and their like teaching experience with it. So it would be kind of a pedagogically focused conference that would help to generate interest and awareness around disability studies as a field, in the hopes of eventually getting it here, so we could have an actual program here. So we do mostly Duke faculty participating, but I was thinking it'd be awesome to get like a star from disability studies to be the keynote, someone like Leonard Davis. So that was what I was thinking for the spring. So these would be the 2 things that we'd have to put into our budget, and I don't know what they would cost, right? But that's what I want us to be talking about in the coming weeks, as we have to put our budget together by March, or by sometime in March, right?
Yeah, so the hearing is tomorrow at 5, so Trent and I will be there. Trent, our treasurer, and I will be at that hearing.
Okay.
And yeah, so we'll find out more details then. But yeah, if any of you guys here, or anyone watching this meeting, if you want to send us any ideas you have about what events we could do next year, especially during events during Disability Pride Week, we'd love to hear your input, and we can see if we can get some more stuff in the budget. Yeah, I think this is the great start though. So hopefully everything will come together for us to get a really good budget approved ahead of time for next year. Yeah. Okay. So we have some extra time, I think. So one thing I was thinking we could talk about really briefly is the survey. So we are getting a lot of really good responses, but I wanted to talk about how exactly we can go about like what exactly we're gonna do with the information, how do we sort through it efficiently, and make sure that we're able to use the responses, and that we don't end up in a situation where like we have like a ton of responses and like no idea how to sort through them or interpret them. So yeah, if anyone has ideas on that, I'd love to hear them. I think we're up to like 84, 85 responses now. So we're getting up there, which is great, but.
So for my video, because we're focusing on physical accessibility, so we're also like hoping to incorporate some stats and just some numbers into the video to give people more perspective. So you can definitely use this survey, like mentioning it in the video.
Okay, great. Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. And yeah, I think so. Like one thing I was wondering is like, do we want to like it's exec especially, like, do we want to set a timer like in some certain meeting later in the year? Like, do you want to set aside some time to just discuss the results of the survey and discuss what to do with them as a whole? Do you want to like on a regular basis have someone sorting through the responses and organizing them or something? How? Yeah, I think the thing I was wondering is like how do we deal with the responses in that way? So.
Do we have anyone who's trained in data analysis?
We have reference to some excellent resources at Duke. So I've worked on some projects where like it was a lot of people who didn't really have any experience with like analyzing and visualizing data, but like Duke has made some headway with like setting up people who are there to like give regular workshops like every week and to just consult with any student or faculty group on projects. So this could be more long-term, but one way to reach out to people is have a really compelling visualization of the data, to not necessarily have an Excel spreadsheet, but to like think through what is the most effective way to make it forceful and meaningful to the audience. And I learned a lot about those types of questions and the various software available just by reaching out to. I'll have to look it up, and maybe I could do that right now when the conversation turns. But it's like there's the SSRI Institute, and then the bottom floor of Bostock, which has been converted into this like fancy new space. They are really helpful with supporting these types of projects. So that might be a starting point.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. If you could send those resources to exec, we can discuss them. And then, once we have an idea of how we're going to sort through the responses, maybe we can also kind of notify our membership about that as well. Because I think we want to be transparent about how we're using the results of the survey, especially to the people who have taken the time to fill it out, which we really do appreciate. Any other ideas about how we want to go about handling the responses? Yeah.
I don't know that much about like filtering through data, but I do think that it's smart to like start doing it early so that like the responses don't accumulate. So what I would do is like I would start on an Excel sheet and like to like compare the different answers first, and then after that like analyze the results and then like do the infographics and like the different stuff.
Right. Yeah. We do have the option of putting everything into an Excel spreadsheet, so I think we will have to start doing that. So that's a good point.
Yeah, maybe to like start just filtering and like looking at the data already gathered, so that it doesn't like accumulate until the end, until you have like too many stuff.
Yeah. And if anyone is particularly interested in doing that, we could definitely use some help. I know exactly. Most of the time, exec is stretched pretty thin with everything we're trying to get done. But yeah, if anyone has a particular interest, please reach out. We'd love to help in kind of sorting through everything again. So yeah. All right. Was there anything else? Anything else we need to talk about? Any other questions about kind of what DDA does in general? We can still have like 8 minutes, so we can just discuss anything else. All right. Okay.
One last update, Jay. I added links to the bottom of the meeting agenda document.
Awesome, thank you. So yeah, exec can look at that, and then once we have a better plan, then we can reach out to our membership as a whole. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, then, if there's nothing else to discuss with the general body, then I think we're done for today. So thank you all for coming in, and yeah, have a great weekend. Bye, everyone.
Okay, good to see you.